Good morning, everyone, to the 4th European OHDSI Symposium. It's really an honor to welcome you here in Rotterdam. My name is Peter Rijnbeek. I'm Professor of Medical Informatics at the Erasmus Medical Center and Chair of the Department, and I'm your host for today. I'd first like to thank our sponsors for making this possible. Thank you very much. Some of them also have a stand downstairs when we get to the Collaborator Showcase. So thank you very much for that. Also welcome to the SS Rotterdam. So you're on a cruise ship. Unfortunately, we're not going to move. We're not going anywhere. We stay here. It's a pity. We tried it, but it didn't work. But it used to go to the US, actually, just to be connected, a connection between Rotterdam and New York, which is kind of nice because it's connecting Rotterdam also with the Coordination Center of OHDSI at Columbia University. So it's a nice connection, and we had the first meet or the third meeting here also last year, and it was a success. So we decided to stay on this ship and to ask more people to join our OHDSI journey. It was launched on the 14th December of 1956 here in Rotterdam. A transatlantic line. A very nice ship, has been renovated quite a bit. It cost a lot of money for the city of Rotterdam to keep this boat here, to build it and to renovate it, but it's now a conference center. So I'm very proud of what happened since the last OHDSI Symposium that we had here in Rotterdam. I've been looking at a lot of new data partners joining our data networks. A lot of new projects also starting that leverage the OMOP Common Data Model and the tooling. And that's really exciting. And also that there are so many new people joining the OHDSI community. And that's important because we need a large community to make our reliable evidence more scalable through standardization and all kind of tool development. And that's exactly what we are doing here. Some of you are working in standardization, the standardization part, standardization of data to the OMOP Common Data Model and the standardized vocabularies. Others in the community are working very hard on building common analytics to run against the Common Data Model. And also, very importantly, we are creating a lot of evidence, important, reliable evidence that's been used by many different stakeholders. And together as a community, we create a kind of research memory. We learn from each individual study and try to apply that new knowledge to the next study. So we're together really changing a paradigm on how to use observational data at scale. And with scale here, I mean on many different problems, but also on many different databases all around Europe and, of course, all around the world. So the OHDSI Europe chapter has been set up to enable and stimulate the adoption of the OMOP Common Data Model in Europe. We focus on European challenges and opportunities, and I dare to say that a solution like OMOP and the vocabularies is even more needed in Europe than the US, because we have such a large number of vocabularies that we use in the different countries. It's also about community building, so being a point of contact for stakeholders, organizing this European symposium, train stakeholders through the lectures, the workshops, and also stimulate national and international collaborations. Also, a new thing that happened and really got a good uptake in last year is the creation of national nodes, where we try to stimulate also within countries that communities are being created, led by an organization. And at the moment, you see here a list of the national nodes that are being set up. And personally, it gives me a lot of energy to present at the kickoff meetings of these national nodes and see the enthusiasm of all these people that take up our roles and our visions and move it forward in their own countries. And that's why we created a very special place for the national nodes in the Collaborator Showcase. There's an area with all kind of flags and the different posters from the national nodes. So pay a visit to those. If you are in these countries, connect to the poster presenter and see if you can join that national initiative. And this is really important because we will not be in the positions from the center or the chapter from Erasmus to really coordinate all the local individual databases. And that's possible through these national nodes quite well. They are working together to run studies within the country. They will be working on standardization of their data. A very important effort, for example, is standardization of vocabularies. And the only people that can do that very well are the local people. So the people that have the knowledge on those source vocabularies. And it's nice that they are hopefully be working together a lot in the future to generate a common mapping to the standards. So thanks also to all the leads from the nodes that are in the room for picking this up, and we are very eager to help you out in that effort. The first meeting we had in 2018, and that was in a little bit smaller setting, about 200 participants, already 40 posters, was hosted in Rotterdam in one of the big meeting rooms. And at that moment, it was actually Johan van der Leij, the previous chair of the department, who thought about making these hoodies for the community, and those are still a big success. Unfortunately, we do not have more. There are people still asking for these hoodies because they look very good and they are very nice to wear. And I think most of us have now kind of gray one because we've been wearing it such a long time, or we got another one. Then we went back to Erasmus, growing a bit further, but the big scale-up actually happened after the Corona crisis. The pandemic, and we hosted that here on the ship. 350 participants, was full, even it was a little bit less in the end. Not all people showed up, unfortunately, but it was a very good crowd with 80 posters. So we doubled in the number of collaboration or participants in the Collaboration Showcase. Software demos and tutorials were held then also in Rotterdam. Now we are here again, and the title of the meeting is Full Steam Ahead, and that's really what we want to accomplish with this meeting. As you have seen on the agenda, there's a very big spot, the Collaborator Showcase, where you can interact with each other, where you can look at all the activities the others are doing in the OHDSI community. There's also rooms for small breakouts if you need to. Just connect to us, and we can set it up for you. But we also changed a couple of things in this meeting. And first of all is that we thought it would be nice this year to give you the goodie before the meeting instead of after the meeting, and that's that nice booklet, because you can use it to write down all your notes and all your lessons learned during this day. We also had educational sessions now before the meeting, and we're trying out what's better, before or after. Personally, I really like that it's before, because a lot of people that were new to the community could get familiar with some of the basics already the day before. But we also, and it was new this year, we invited other projects in Europe that are using the OMO Common Data Model or work groups from OHDSI to have their meetings at the Erasmus Center. So there was a very big group around oncology, for example, having meetings during the weekend. And now we also had even more submissions, which I think is great. And I'd like to thank all the faculty that did a great job on Saturday and Sunday in giving all these lectures. You see a couple of examples here, the vocabulary work group. In the middle, you see Patrick sweating there for a big room, trying to teach on phenotype creation. And also on the right, I think it's good to mention, that was the introduction to OHDSI, and Renske Los actually showed there the image of the last year and asked the question, who in the room can find himself on this picture? And I think there was only one, which was somebody who's working at our department, but all of them were new, and I think that's fantastic to see, because I like that more and more people are joining, hopefully also stay, and we at some point have to go to an even bigger room than this, but that was a really nice thing to hear. It was also nice, we had a lot of breakouts, and the center was very good for that, where on the left you see Patrick talking to some of the breakout groups, because they were actually building phenotypes together during the first day, and in the second day, some of these phenotypes have been executed also against databases and were evaluated. So a big thank you to Anna and Patrick and everybody else who helped out there. If we look at today, it's quite amazing the number of countries that are represented here in this meeting. So we have 28 different countries in the group in this room. But also the stakeholders are very nicely distributed from academia, more technology space, health system, government, and pharmaceutical industry. But this is always the nicest slide to look at, because that shows who is new to OHDSI, who is at the moment participating in OHDSI meetings global, and I would really emphasize to join also the global meetings. There's very nice Tuesday meetings, very interesting presentations. People that are working in database conversions or have already a CDM. It's really nice that about a third of the people in the room have a CDM or are working with CDM closely. Using tools, participating for us, etc. So it's very great to see that growth. If we look at the agenda for today, after me, Patrick will give an introduction or more an overview of where we have been and where we can go together in OHDSI. And then we'll focus on a few European initiatives using the OMO Common Data Model, and there are actually many more, but that would take the whole morning to go through all of them. And then we break out. We will have a coffee break, or we have a coffee break, and then we come back for the session on rapid-fire presentations from the submitted abstracts. After that, there is a lunch, and we all go down to the B deck, where the Collaborator Showcase is in 2 big rooms, all on the same floor, so you can just walk between the rooms. There are the demos. There are also stands. There are many posters to look at, and a lot of interaction for you as well amongst each other. And then we close at the end. We come back and we will talk about the Darwin Initiative, which is another project that I'm very proud of, that we are supporting the European Medicines Agency in setting up a coordination center using the OMO Common Data Model. So there will be a presentation from the EMA side, and then also from the Darwin coordination team. Multiple speakers will talk about that, and then we have a closure. So with that, again, welcome, and I'd like to give the word to Patrick Wright.